Good morning. Good Friday to everybody, but not the actual Good Friday. That's next week. But happy early Easter for those that celebrate, and hope everyone's been well since the last time I did one of these things, which was a while back. Um, Been a wild few weeks personally, and I'll share a little bit about that in a moment. But just want to bring to highlight some things that's been on my mind lately. A couple things. Make sure you check out the Breakfast Leadership Show on your favorite flavor of podcast. Lots of great interviews, some amazing thought leaders that I've spoken with over the years, and that continues. And I'm still amazed that I get to do that. Get to talk to some really cool people on this planet. I'm assuming most of them are on the planet. They might be elsewhere. I haven't spoke to anyone that was on the space station, but I have interviewed an astronaut, so that counts, I guess. But just give it a listen. They're quick format. I try to keep them under half an hour. So on your commute or when you're working out or do something else, you can put it on and maybe learn something. I do. I always learn from every guest. I'm constantly taking down notes, even though I use a transcription service so it will give me the notes. I still will take a pen and a little sheet of paper and write down some notes, and then I go back later on and enter those notes into the reservoir of information that I compile that's not necessarily sticking in this thing. So definitely check that out. Secondly, Breakfast Leadership blog, absolute ton of articles that I release every week on a variety of different topics, mostly business oriented. Sometimes, although lately I haven't done a lot on burnout, which is kind of funny in a way because that's how this whole organization started anyway. But I still approach it because I think if you have a healthy business and your business is running well, then that means your employees are hopefully being taken care of and they're not burning out, which means you as an owner are not burning out. Uh, quick conversation earlier this week with somebody that is doing great things, but experienced a little bit of burnout, and they know what it is. They know what the signs are, but they know what to do to prevent it. But it still happened to them. That's the thing about burnout is you can have all the shields up. You can know everything there is to know about burnout and how to prevent it, and it still happens to you because life gets in the way of living sometimes, and I think that's something for all of us to remember is sometimes we're so busy living life that we're not living life, and it's really important for you to do that. And kind of ties in, although accidentally, but it works, to kind of share what's been going on in my own personal journey over the last few weeks. 4 weeks ago today, uh, we lost my mom, and it was sudden, unexpected. She was in her 70s, so you're going to expect, that at some point that would happen, but it certainly didn't occur to my brother and I that it was going to happen as abruptly as it did. Thankfully, she went very peacefully. It didn't appear that there was any type of trauma. It seemed to happen pretty quick. I'm not going to go into the details of how she was discovered and all that, but she was home. And I think that speaks volumes to, I think her desires, quite frankly, that if she was to pass away, she didn't want to do it in a hospital bed. She wanted to do it at home, and she did. And very thankful that her wishes came true when it came to that, but it still sucks. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And it's just shy of the 4-year anniversary of losing my dad. So this pandemic, beginning to, if you want to call it an end, it's ever present apparently. That particular virus, but over the last 4 years, it's been a bit of a challenge for the family on some things, but thankfully, and this is how it's helping me get through this, is she doesn't have to go to any more doctor appointments. She doesn't have to have bad nights of sleep. She doesn't have to worry about anything anymore. It's all done, and I think the finality of it is comforting but also hurtful. It's just one of those things that, if you're fortunate enough to still have a parent or both your parents, I forget what actor it was, but I think it was during their Oscar acceptance speech. They said, call your parents. Give them a call today. Do it. Don't 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 take that for granted. Um, if you have an estranged relationship with your parents, I get it. I know a lot of people that have that type of situation, but it's there's going to be one day where you won't be able to. So, if you can, please do. Another thing too, and this is just something that you're learning when you're working on estate stuff. Um, you know, work with your loved ones, either your parents or yourself, your spouse or partner. Get your affairs in order. Even if you're in your 20s or 30s, get something together. Any important documents that people will need for when that time comes when you leave. And spoiler alert, we all have expiry dates. Thankfully, they're not tattooed on our necks because, well, we'd all be taking a mirror and going, okay, how many days do I have left? And we'd be focusing so much on that instead of just living. But get your affairs in order. Get get a will. Get everything clearly laid out. A living will as well. Estate planning, if you can afford it. Definitely prepay for any funeral expenses and or cremation or whatever the case may be. Do that. Start squirreling away money on it. 25 bucks, 50 bucks, 100 bucks a week or a month, whatever you can afford. I know right now everything's tight. It always is, but especially now there's a lot of challenges that people are facing. But that's my recommendation is start getting that stuff in order so that way when your loved ones do pass away, not only do you not have the financial challenges of dealing with all of those things, but you also are dealing with the emotional side of things. And to know that things are already kind of laid out as to what's to happen makes the process a lot easier. I'm thankful that mom had a will that was clearly laid out as to what was her wishes, and my brother and I have been able to basically do everything that's listed in that will. So very, very helpful. We don't have to involve, you know, estate lawyers or government or things like that. It made it, pretty crystal clear as to what was to transpire. So I'm thankful for that. And I think that is a gift that you can give your loved ones too, is just, clear it out. I don't have any. Probably should have got an affiliate code here to give you. It's like, here, do planning for this. Maybe I'll add it to the video afterwards. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if funeral homes or places do affiliate codes and reference codes or not. They probably should. But if you're in the Southeast Michigan area, I can definitely give you a recommendation for an amazing funeral home. They did a wonderful, wonderful job uh, meeting to our needs and coordinating things for mom, and it was zero complaints. They did an amazing job on that. But again, that's the takeaway. Just get your affairs in order. Even though you might be living for another 60, 70, 100 years, I don't know. And the way science is, we may live longer. And we'll see how that all plays out. But the sooner you can, the better it is. And then have that discussion with your family. Not an easy one. Okay, so when I die, this is what I want to have happen. It's an emotional conversation, but avoiding it's not going to make things any easier when that time comes. So clearly lay it out. I'm thankful that my mom's will no longer said that we had to live with my Uncle Joe, which is probably good because he's been gone for over 2 decades. That's another story for another day. But again, ultimately, get things in order if you could. Just do what you got to do. I know it's a tough thing. We'd much rather spend money on fun stuff, and funeral planning and end of life planning is not necessarily fun, but it's the right thing to do. It'll make things a whole lot easier for everybody involved if you do it. So that's the takeaway, is just, start squirreling away some money to go take care of that and get that done so people don't have to worry about that after you decide to punch out from this thing we call life. So, again, thank you again for your time. Really appreciate you giving your time. That's one commodity we never ever get back. So always appreciate it, even if you're watching this for a couple seconds. I greatly appreciate you and wish you all the best today and the upcoming weekend and the Easter holiday as well. Until next time, be well.